Twitch for a few days until they head to YouTube. If you're still watching us on YouTube, please hit the like button and potentially subscribe and follow us because we'd like to see who you are and we'd like to get you involved in some way as friends of the show. So, as a brief recap, both for myself and for our players, our small band of Zeros to Heroes was working on bringing back one of our members who had fallen in an attack by some raiders from the nearby city of Kemal. Uh, the raiders had come to steal a wagon load of ore from the mine. Our characters just happened to be tagging along and defending it, and they were overwhelmed with a superior force. And several of us went down. Rip did not get back up. And so, to follow that, the other characters tried to figure out a way to bring Rip back. In doing so, they have had to travel into the edges of the Feywild, into a place they're not really sure where they are. But they came face to face with Mother, a person that Sonny calls Mother and who we know as Kaida Grunch, who visits Gladewell from time to time. People think of her as a scary old lady who lives in the woods. She has 3 other women with her in their little cottage in a glade in some ancient woods. We're not sure exactly how that place exists. We came through a portal that was set up by a tiny green lady riding a blink dog. Meanwhile, we are dealing with Rip and Rip's soul having conversations with the god of death, the Raven Queen. And with that, we will go to Rip, who had been standing alone in silence and darkness. Strands of light appeared everywhere, glowing brighter as they surrounded Rip. The face of the Raven Queen came through the darkness. They had a discussion, and then it pulled away. Rip is surrounded by these strands of light. The strands, some golden, some silver, seem to draw in, nearing, tightening. The silence is complete, overwhelming. The endless emptiness stretches in all directions, save for these threads of light. The flat, still pool at your feet laps thickly as your boots shuffle. As the strands draw in inexorably, you can see that each is made of thousands of smaller threads twisting and braiding through one another. Are you gaining some sense of scale? Each strand now seems as thick as your wrist. Are some strands thinner than others? Most, you see, or even all, are connected by the thinnest of filaments to one another. Your senses are lulled by the soft slapping of the liquid at your feet. Drowsy. Are the strands still drawing closer, or are you moving? You can't tell. Maybe the strands are growing. Maybe you're shrinking. You feel very disoriented and seek some visual cues, but your eyes are filled in every direction now with these strands of light. One lightly brushes against your calf, and it burns. Burns! You're wide awake, and a slight panic overtakes you. White, hot pain rips through you, and you stiffen, aware that other strands are very nearby. Agonizingly through the burning, your life begins to play. Rip, please describe the moments from your life that flash through your tortured mind.
As I shuffle my knees in closer, draw my legs into me to try and keep away from these strands, and I watch them dance in and out of my depth perception, I think back to my first memories in my crib back home, where my mother had braided a mobile for me. And I remember those early memories of also watching those intertwined fibers. They weren't gold, they weren't silver. They were white and dark green and light green and cream all woven together. And I remember being able to pick out the fibers individually, visually. And sometimes I couldn't quite catch how close they were to me or how far they were from me. Just kind of when you have that sort of pattern in front of you that you just really can't tell. Much like how these very real tendrils are close to me, dancing in and out. And I remember running through underground tunnels, in between bunkers, sneaking out into the forest to gather things like edible mushrooms. My sibling Calican, Cal, showed me were safe to eat. Getting scolded for bringing them back, but they'd still be used in dinner. Of following my father to the workshop, my ba, to the workshop, seeing what they were up to, watching them work on the war machines, not really liking them, following Wa to the farm, liking that a little bit better, but I still liked running more. Of being caught unawares with Cal, with Odie, my friend, brother. It was sometimes hard to tell in the village. By some Aarakocra. Running away, thinking that Odie and Cal were right behind me. I should have known Cal does not retreat. Seeing a flash, stumbling into sudden rain and mud in a road in a world I did not know. Trying to find my way. Sitting in a tavern, hearing of someone talk about a strange gnome with very red hair who didn't seem to really understand this realm either. Following those hints. The way my heart beat in my chest when I knocked on Pocket's door for the first time. Hoping hoping that it was who I thought it was, and it was. The relief of seeing someone who looks just like everyone from back home and feeling just a tiny bit more at home again. Following Pocket, rushing out the door, yelling about somebody in the woods and help, and coming across Stony, helping him get better, meeting his family, the first family I really met in Gladewell. Of meeting Pieta, meeting Sunny and Fern, the games 5 years ago. And as I'm remembering, it's like things are rushing faster, things are moving faster, starting to just glimpses until I'm speeding at myself, surrounded by bright white light, and I'm coming directly at my own face, and I'm standing in front of a cart on a road. And as I close my eyes because I'm about to hit myself, I'm back in the middle of these tendrils again.
The tendrils and strands move in more tightly, and you start to feel them touch you one by one. The agony is white hot, and from there, we switch. Stony, Sunny, Fern, and Pieta. You have stepped out of this mushroom. A big mushroom. Time seems to slow. The air seems heavy, almost thick. Your awareness widens, even as you feel like you're in a dream. And you observe the world around you. Your senses are suddenly overpowering. The smell of the deep wood loam, the soft breeze, fresh and cool with a hint of approaching autumn. The hairs on your arms and the back of your hands sensing the air. The sounds of rustling in the leaves beyond the glade, and night setting in. The first stars peeking out as the sky darkens. The sky darkens? Yeah. And upon further inspection, the stars seem to be slowly moving. Are they stars? Or is that you? In front of you, Sister Sylvie Spine stands before the cottage in the gloaming dusk, her belly swollen heavy, an expectant look writ on her face. And the door opens softly behind her, and Kaida Grunch, Mother, slides out behind Sylvie, a slight smile warping her pale facial tattoos. The game is yours.
Sunny, remind me not to ask any questions.
You think we're still playing the game?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. Well, I guess we should present our objects.
The time for questions is over. Now we must complete this transaction.
Yes.
But first, the matter of the cauldron. We should probably return that first, before anything.
We did already.
Oh, right. My folly. Then let us continue. Pieter, are you ready?
He gets kind of brought back to reality. Yeah, let's do it.
Yet, are you okay?
Yeah, I was just distracted, lost in thought. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Sunny will gather up a couple of the items, the finger bone with the ring, squirrel, and Sony's toolbox, and start walking over to where Sylvie and Mother is.
Okay. They're very close.
Hello.
They're just waiting.
Would you like us to go to the cauldron? Huddle around the fire?
It's like grabs your hand and squeezes it.
Whose hand is he squeezing? Fern's?
Fern's.
Cauldron shall come to us. And she kind of gestures with one long finger, and the cauldron suddenly has hundreds of tiny insect legs, and it just scuttles across over to you guys and thunk sits back down. Do you have the treasures we requested?
Yeah. Where would you like us to present them?
Please place them in the cauldron.
Okay.
No hesitation. Stony begins, taking the items and placing them in one by one.
Sure. Kaida grunch. Just kind of, it's almost like, she doesn't say anything, but across her face, it's like a child at Christmas, looking at all the gifts. It's just so happy. Her smile gets really big. You see, some of the tattoos that are pale across her face so that she just looks dark-skinned. Some of them bend into each other as she smiles really widely and make sigils that looks like when they're touching, it makes different shapes and runes on her face. And she's only looking at the stuff you've delivered. She holds up Stoney's tool pouch. She says, "Oh, this one must have cost you dearly. That is so..."
Yes, that one in particular, that tool was very difficult to come by. In fact, that one there I had to make myself. I hope they're going to good use. Oh, good gods, I hope they're going to good use.
She holds up both the Mr. Sniffles and curls them into and just kind of slides them both into a pouch in her robe. Oh, holds up the finger, the bone with the ring. Interesting. Sniffs it, tastes it, places it back in the cauldron. When she's finished, she kind of slides back away, and the cauldron scuttles off after her. And Sister Sylvie is still standing with an expectant look on her face.
Sister, we did find a home that you asked for.
Do tell.
Pocket, back in Gladewell, has volunteered to take the child. And Pocket is known to have a very loving, happy home.
Well, that is wonderful. She turns and looks back at the open door. Sisters? And a few moments later, the other two come out. Are we fucking ready? Sister Gnaws chewing on the bone. Auntie Natty Gnaw. Still chewing on a bone. With her deep grayish-green skin and her tusks sticking out the bottom jaw. Shall we begin? And Granny Isabel comes out last. She's really wide, and she waddles side to side as she comes out, and she says, "Let's get started then." Let's see. Here is good. And she raises her hand, and mushrooms are growing up out of the ground into a circle. And she sits herself on this big mushroom and kind of squirms her butt into it. And the mushrooms pop up into a ring, a circle about 10 feet in diameter. And she's on one edge. She says, "Gather round. Where is the body that we are bringing back?"
Oh, in the house, I think. Sunny, do you want to call it?
I have to be in the house in order to talk to it, do I not?
I don't know. Have we tried?
I guess not. Magic mushroom house? Please deposit Rip's body in front of me.
You hear a sound like, and Rip's corpse just goes flying, all arms flapping around, and just splats down in the middle of the circle.
Well, at least they were already dead.
So Rip is just crumpled into a mess in the middle of the circle, and Granny Isabel says, "Now then, are we ready? Let's get started. Everyone sit on the edge."
Can
Are
we
we
maybe...
sure that they would like to come back?
Fern just runs into the middle and rearranges Rip's limbs so that if they come back into that form, they're not in pain, and then runs back.
Dearie, you're spoiling the circle.
I'm
The
sorry.
mushrooms won't enjoy that.
Right,
Now
I'm
then,
back.
now let us do this. She looks over at Mother, and Mother is holding the two little Mr. Sniffles dolls, and she's you catch her in the middle of playing with them, and she and hides them behind her shoulder, and Granny Isabel reminds her, now, Mother, we need you here. And kind of slides back over, her long hands kind of floating just around her, just almost gracefully like a dancer. And she slides up and she says, "Well, let's begin then, shall we? Granny, you can start." Granny passes a hand over, and roots rip out of the ground and grab Rip's arms and just spread him into 4 directions. Arms and legs stretched tight so that he's their body is off the ground by a tiny bit, just held. Now, let's see if the poor dear can withstand this. It's quite dramatic. Who would like to speak first? Auntie Natty Naw says, "Wait a minute." And she takes her bone and throws it down onto Rip's body. And as she does, all the mushrooms, bing, 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 light up around the circle. Glow. Phosphorescent glow. And it seems like some of you know about the Feywild. It's supposed to never get dark there, but it is nighttime here now. There are stars in the sky. There are deep, dark, dense shadows. Fog is starting to creep across the ground, almost coming toward the fairy circle of mushrooms. And as they glow, this greenish, sickly phosphorescence, and Rip's tiny body is just held rigidly. Granny Isabel says, "Now, who would like to call to their soul? Try to get Rip to return. Who's going first? He won't answer me."
Stony.
If I may be so bold, I shall try. Stony, very cautiously, but not slowly, approaches, sort of dusts himself off, and he bends down, and he hasn't really had a good look at his best friend, and he sort of noticed a bit of the decay and the a bit of the mushroom. It kind of stiffens him a bit, and he chokes back, but he very quietly bends over and whispers, "Hello there, Rip. We are ready for you to come back to us."
As you say this, I know you have more to go, but as you say it, the body kind of jerks and spasms, the eyes fly open, the mouth opens, and there's this greenish phosphorescent glow coming out of the eyes and the mouth, as it's just like in a screaming rictus of pain, but no sound is coming out.
Stony kind of falls backwards a bit, stunned, and he looks to Kaita Grunch as if to be if he doesn't get a response, he turns back and he says with a louder voice now, "Rip, I'm sorry if this hurts, but not having you with us, it hurts even more. Please come back. We need you. Pocket needs you. Gods, all of Tal'Dorei needs you. If you can hear us, please come back to us."
Roll a persuasion check. Just a persuasion check. I assume
roll in that one.
that Rip is willing. Rip already mentioned to being willing.
Good thing I'm really good at persuasion checks.
Or, okay, I'm going to give you another choice. You could roll also religion. Either one.
I'll take religion. Definitely 100% taking religion.
Okay. Religion, but you have to describe why and what you're doing to roll a religion check.
So this is perfect because Stony is proficient in religion, so he would know where Rip has gone. So he suddenly gets a flash of inspiration, and he holds up his hands and looks at Rip, and he says, "Raven Queen, I beseech you, I am so sorry. Death is always inevitable, and I am so sorry to desecrate your domain, but please, please, I beg you, I pray to you, please let us have our precious friend back."
Okay. Roll away.
That's a 24. That's what I like to
Yeah.
see.
Nice. Okay. That is one success. Rip's body jerks and spasms and then settles back. The glow fades from their eyes and mouth. It looks like the pain has eased a tiny bit, but then you see the teeth clench and the jaws tightening. The lips peel back from his teeth as if their little body is just back in this savage pain. And as you guys watch this in horror, Auntie Natty Naw says, "Who's fucking going next?"
Yetta or Fern?
Quickly, one of you, hurry!
Yetta steps up. Cautious but steadily as well. And he quickly has a moment of looking up at Natty and just kind of oogling her, and then being like, and then immediately snapping, like, I'm on a mission. And he sits there and thinks for a moment and says, with a loud and boastful voice, "Rip, if you can hear us, your party, your friends, we're all here waiting for you to come back. Rip, if you can hear my voice, you have all these people that love you that are waiting for you. Please, come back to us."
Okay. The head thrashes violently side to side. The teeth start to chatter like they're in so much pain that they're just shaking with it. You can roll a persuasion check or something else, but you'll have to tell me what you would like to roll that makes sense here. Or you could just go persuasion. Athletics won't work. Acrobatics
I'm gonna
won't
go
work.
with animal handling, and here's what. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll roll persuasion. Here we go.
Okay.
That is an 8.
The glow fades out of Rip's eyes, and the body goes slack, just hanging from the roots, being stretched in 4 directions. Auntie
It's
Natty says, "You a fucking loser, aren't you?"
Pieta, right before he said that, has a moment of like, "What's going on? What happened?" And then Natty said that, and he goes like, "Yeah, I'm a loser." And then, no, what happened? No, did I fail? And he just kind of slumps. And is in his own world.
Okay.
No, you can't fail. You. Fern runs up. She stares daggers at Auntie and basically dares her to say something else. And then looks
She
back
picks her
at
nose while you're staring at her.
looks back at Rip and Rip, please, you have to come back to us. There's a space for you here. You're supposed to be here. I know that it's not fair for you to be gone right now. We need you. We can't do this without you. And whoever is listening, whoever can bring Rip back, and she looks around at all of the women around them. We must have our friend. We have to have Rip. We can't save the world without Rip.
Roll an insight check, please, as you look at these women.
That's a 5.
They're just staring back at you. If anybody wants to roll an insight check, as you see that Fern is grasping for some sort of help from these people.
I got a 17.
That's good.
Oh, sorry, I got a 19.
Yeah. You get the feeling, even though you probably don't feel this about Auntie Natty Naw, but the others are standing there almost hoping you fail. That's what it feels like. You realize they're helping you, but they're enjoying this immensely.
We need you, Rip, please. Sunny needs you. Stony is going wild without you. Pieta is wild over this random woman, and we need you here. Please. Can I roll persuasion?
You may.
It's a 12.
Okay. The glow comes back in the eyes and the mouth, and the head starts to shake side to side, and you hear a scoff like, "Ugh." And you look over and it's Kaida Grunch, its mother. Says, she looks off into the dark. I understand. And she reaches her long hand all the way into the circle over Rip's body and grabs the air. And as you do, you see she starts pulling this green thread out of Rip's torso. And the body is pulling toward where she's hauling this thread, and she, hand over hand, pulls this, like, it seems like she's pulling out intestines. And she hands the end of this thread to Fern.
Fern very trepidatiously takes it.
Says, pull harder.
Okay. And she takes it with both hands and just starts to try to run in the opposite direction.
So you can't go anywhere. It stops you immediately, but you're just leaning on this, like, tendril of green light that she pulled out of Rip's body. And Rip's stomach and chest are just like being pulled. Like you're literally literally ripping him open them open by doing this.
I'm so sorry, Rip. Sunny, help me, please.
Okay. Sunny's kind of just been like scrunched up, cowering a bit, and she has to take one deep breath, and then she runs over and takes the side of the string that's closest to Rip's body and starts to yank as well.
That is not for you, my dear. That is for
Immediately
her.
drops it.
Can you roll, Fern, an athletic check as you are pulling as hard as you can? I'm going to give you advantage because she started it. It started the pull, and you had help getting it to the edge of the circle.
It's a 16.
Okay. Sister Sylvie says, we need more convincing, or your friend will not return.
Sunny looks at the faces of the elder woman and sees that they're kind of rooting against us and kind of hoping to see us fail. And so she starts to get angry and she looks down at Rip's body and says, now listen here, Rip. You're not allowed to choose anything else other than coming back with us. You got it? You can't leave us. We're all in this together. We made a pact that we do this together, and you're part of that, and you got to choose to come back with us. Otherwise, I will come and haunt you. I don't know where you are, but I will find you and haunt you if you don't come back right now. Isn't that right, Grim?
Fucking A. As Sonny starts yelling that stuff, Auntie Natty says, I love a boy. Ain't you gonna help? To Pieta. And jerks her head over toward Fern.
Huh? Help? How? What's going on?
Pieta, go help Fern right now. And he gives him a push. We need your strength.
He goes over to Fern and grabs onto this green rope thread intestine thing as well and starts pulling with Fern's permission. Like, is this right? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Just give it all your strength.
Okay. He he gives himself a big freaking slap and he goes like, okay, I'm back. God, and he like grabs on both hands and goes, yeah, and you want me to roll something?
Yeah, roll an athletics check. And Sonny, with your admonishment and your fuss, what are you going to roll? Persuasion, or are you going to try
I was
something
hoping
different?
I could roll for intimidation as I try to convince them that they have to.
I'll allow that.
Cool. Am I allowed to have advantage since Grim helped?
I don't think so.
That's fair.
Pieta is so spacey and he can't get his feet
No.
firm. He rolled a 6.
Okay.
A 3 with the 3 modifier, I should say.
What did Sonny roll?
Sunny rolled a 24 for intimidation as she continues to sputter off just annoying things at Rip.
So this tendril of light extends, and even though Fern and Pieta didn't get really, they're not pulling as hard as potentially needs to. When Sonny yells this, this thread gets longer, and you guys, Fern and Pieta, you both stumble to the ground, but you hang on to the tendril, and now you can start reeling it in.
Just hand
It's
over
looser.
hand.
Yeah, hand over hand. You're just pulling, and this thing started off really thin, almost like a bundle of threads, but it's thickening and starting to pull out from more than his chest, pulling out from Rip's whole body. You can see strands of it coming out of their jaw, their shoulders, their fingertips, and the whole body. It's like you're pulling the essence out of this body, and the body looks terrible. It's starting to gray. The body itself is starting to go gray. You can see these like thick lines of black veins all through the exposed flesh. But you're just hauling it in, and the four women are standing around just watching and smiling.
I want to be
Couple of
clear.
them are
I'm
chuckling.
delighted by how yucky this is. This is great. I couldn't have asked for better. This is awesome.
It looks like the body itself is being destroyed as you guys are hauling on this green line.
Fern is starting to kind of second guess if this is what they're supposed to be doing. If maybe all of the women are just, playing a trick on them, and we're actually, going to ensure that Rip can never come back. And she's second guessing, but she doesn't want to be right, and so she doesn't stop. She keeps going and going, hand over hand, pulling and pulling. And she keeps nudging Pieta to keep his head in the game.
And is anyone else doing anything other than watching this?
Stony is praying. I think this is the first time he's ever prayed, ever. But somehow it worked for him. So I think that I think he thinks that the Raven Queen maybe possibly heard him. So he's praying.
I'm gonna continue yelling at Rip so that they hear one of their voices to guide them.
All right. And you're just pulling until this green stuff starts to feel firmer. Like before it was like you were pulling on light almost. Now you're feeling it in your hands like slimy. It's like it's become ropes of snot, like goo. And your hands are wet and sticky and sweaty. Pieta and Fern, it's splashing on you, and I didn't say that. The ladies, all four of them are just staring. Auntie Natty stopped chewing, and she's just watching. They're all smiling at how delighted with how gross this is. Rip's body has gone white. The eyes are sunken away. It looks like almost desiccated now as you're just hauling this nasty green slime. And suddenly it stops coming and it snaps off and you fall back and it's gone. You're still damp, by the way.
Ew.
I better not have Rip all over me.
That was interesting and delightful. Thank you for joining the fun. That was so entertaining. Auntie Natty picks up her bone and starts chewing again. Sister Sylvie says, well, the baby is due any moment now, so I'll deliver it to the house that you made available very shortly. Is that fine? And without waiting for an answer, she walks back into the cottage.
If you held up your side of the bargain.
Granny Isabel says, well, that was so fun. I had such a good time. And she hauls herself up off of the toadstool and says, Toodaloo, I don't expect to see you anytime soon. And she waddles into the house until it's just you guys, Rip's body, and Mother.
I
Before
down.
you say anything, remember, questions are part of the game. And she curls back with her two little stuffed animals.
Oh, this isn't
But-
a question. You have part of a bargain to hold up.
The bargain is held.
I poke Rip's head to see if they're awake.
Stony swats. What? Stop that. Rip! Rip, are you there?
Mother takes a few more steps away toward the darkness around the cottage. And she says, if you're wondering, that was death you pulled out of them. And she melts into the dark until you guys are just you and Rip's body.
Fern starts frantically trying to get it off, all the slime and death off
It's
of her
pretty
body.
much gone. It's just that you and Pieta are wet with the remnants of whatever nastiness that was.
Pieta has just been throughout sometime between now and when the ritual is over, he just planted on the ground backward, just laying it all in it all.
Just looking up at the stars,
Mm.
which seem to be still moving around, and maybe not really stars.
Mm.
Stony, Sunny, you are, and probably Fern too, as she's wiping herself. You're close to the body. You're watching as the body starts to swell again. From this desiccated, dry, white, ashy-looking creature starts to swell and fill out. Slowly, it takes you a few beats to realize what's going on, but color is starting to come back into the body. And as you watch, the horrible pain seems to be leaving this. At first it looked like a mummy just laying there on the ground, desiccated skin just frozen into this horrible feeling of pain, but it starts to relax and soften, and the roots that were tearing into Rip's wrists and ankles release and slither back into the ground. And Rip's body, lying in the center, fills out. You see the pink coming back to the ears and the cheeks, the lips. And you see a breath swell the chest.
Rip.
Rip. Rip, are you there?
Rip, with your eyes closed, you hear their voices. You smell the forest and you hear the forest around you. But you don't know if you can move. You're so tired. You feel like you've spent 3 years in eternal agony. Your body slowly being pulled apart by these threads that also were burning you. And now it's gone.
As it looks like Rip is going from raisin to grape, for lack of like a better
Exactly.
description. You see a few white on this side, few white mold spores develop on their moss ball prosthetic, and it almost looks like it spreads, and some of their hair along this side doesn't so much go white as it sort of becomes this like a fibrous white mold just up and back along the side of their head. Eyes still closed. Hi, guys. Tired. And I just fall back asleep.
Ugh.
Rip, you have 5 levels of exhaustion.
Yeah, no joke.
That's
You
okay.
bet.
You guys, Rip is alive.
Sunny, do you still have access to the house? Can we get Rip a bed?
Yeah. Do I still see the mushroom house? Are we?
Yeah, still right there. It's your room.
Let's take them in right now.
Okay.
You grab them. I'll get the house ready. I sprint over to the mushroom house and go inside.
Piera, Stony, can you help me?
Yes, of course.
Pieta gets up without a word and goes straight to her and is available for her assistance or for it.
So Fern is going to grab Rip's shoulders and indicate for the others to grab Rip's legs and center of gravity, torso, and all kind of shuffle together into the mushroom to lay Rip down.
It's easy. Rip is a very, very light person.
We're being
Sunny
So-
careful.
Yeah, what's the inside of the house look like now?
Yeah, Sunny asked for the bed to be made out of moss and little like mushroom pillows at the top, and then like a hand-knitted blanket that they can pull over Rip's body, and then a little stuffed animal that they can tuck under their arm. The stuffed animal will be a replica of Grim.
Okay. And it's attached like by fibers to the wall of the place. Yeah, so when you guys walk in, like 30 seconds later, there are not perfectly stacked bunk beds, but there are beds that have grown out from the walls at random places with fleshy pillows and fleshy blankets and little stuffed animals here and there. There are these globular hanging lights in the ceiling that are glowing. There is still the basin of water that you requested earlier. Anything else that you'd like the house to produce?
And for the others, did I forget anything?
Can we call Rip? I mean, Pocket.
Oh. Yeah. Hello. Can we have a pocket to pocket?
Part of the wall, excuse me, slides open, and you see the front of Pocket's window again.
Go and tap on it.
It looks like it's probably nighttime there, but if you tap a few times, eventually Pocket comes. His hair's more tousled than usual, and he's got his bathrobe on, his little nightgown, and he comes stumbling up to the window. Yeah, can I help you? What? How is my little Rip?
sleeping.
Oh, you've done it. You've done it. May I come? He starts to climb in.
Grab
Sure.
one of Pocket's arms.
It's like he hits a membrane and he can't make it all the way through. You've got his arm, but the rest of his body won't be allowed in.
Keep trying to yank harder.
Give me an
as he, like,
athletics
squishes
check.
up.
Yeah, he's really being squished up against the wall.
Athletics, because I'm so good at that. That would be a 3.
He manages to push himself back. He says, it doesn't look like it's allowing access, but I can see my dear rep there. Oh, he's alive. He just breaks down and starts weeping.
Vern just kind of
Back soon
slumps
enough.
back against the wall and kind of inadvertently falls asleep. What were you saying?
Oh,
Donnie?
I was just telling Pocket, we'll be back soon enough. I promise. We'll bring you back, Rip.
Okay. So when you say that, it heals up over the door.
Well, I go and tuck a blanket over Fern, and then I look at Pieta and Stony to see what they're doing.
His back is against the wall with his eyes closed. You can't tell if he's sleeping or meditating.
Stony is just sort of staring over at Rip. His face a mix of incredulous and just absolute tension in his brow.
As you watch, Rip's body continues to fill out until pink rosy cheeks, pink lips, the breathing is normal and regular, and they seem just sleepy. And the feeling hits you guys how tired, how long it's been. You don't really have a sense of time, but your body is telling you it may have been days that you've been here, and now it's finally all hitting you.
Was Sunny able to try to fight off the sleep a little bit longer
Sure.
as she sees a couple of the others? Fern goes to sleep and Payetta's meditating. She stands up and slips out of the mushroom house, trying not to be noticed.
Do you want to roll stealth, or are you not that worried about it?
I'll roll stealth since
Go ahead,
Stony was
give us a
still
stealth
awake.
You could take it with advantage because Stony is locked into Rip right now.
Let's get
I
a
have to.
Constitution save from Stony to see if he can stay awake now that he realizes everything's okay.
Okay.
Let's get a Constitution from Sunny as well.
Sunny got a 15.
Okay. You're
You
still
said
awake.
a save, right?
Constitution
Not a
save.
check.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that would be a 15.
Okay, you can stay awake as long as you think you need to. So Sunny quietly slips out the door.
Did I have advantage on that stealth check?
Nope.
Okay, well, I got a nat 1 for a total of 4, so maybe not so quietly.
Stumbling out the door because you are tired. Maybe you fall into the door jamb for a sec. Oops.
I slip out of the mushroom house and look around and try to get my bearings as I am trying to search for Mother.
Mm-hmm. You saw where she disappeared into the dark. So
I'll start walking that way.
you go over there and you find her in a patch of tall grass just inside the circle of dark trees. It's just dark, but she's standing in tall, dry grass, bending down and doing something on the ground, just kind of plucking at the ground.
I walk up to her. Does she still have a Mr. Sniffles out?
No.
Okay. I walk up to her. I sit down on the ground and be like, we're not done playing the game.
I figured as much. And she reaches towards you holding something, and it's a long, dangly worm. Would you like a snack?
Thank you. And then I offer it to Grim.
Grim is just sitting there,
I
puppet-like.
try to stuff it in Grim's mouth.
It'll go in there.
Yeah. All right.
You see that she has pulled up probably 24, and she's got them just squirming in one hand as she's continuing to pull more out of the ground.
And he puts both of her hands on her head as she's really trying to concentrate, even though she's tired. But she wants to make sure she gets it right. 5 years ago, you chose me to come to this house with you. Why?
I remember.
Why me? Why then? What was the point of this?
Well, you do recall that everyone was trying to gain apprenticeships and internships, and some people wanted security for their future. So I came by and offered it to you. Why you? Many reasons. But initially, the pebble called your name, and I delivered.
What do you mean the pebble called my name?
Just that. The red pebble. She does this with her fingers, and you know she's speaking about the one in Grim's eye. The red pebble knew you and wanted you. I merely accepted you as my apprentice.
Pebbles don't talk. They don't feel. Who's in charge of this pebble?
They not introduced themselves yet?
No.
Surprise. Have you had dreams, perhaps? Of things that maybe have given you answers without questions?
Those are just dreams, are they not?
Dreams have meaning, my dear. Now it's my turn. Why do you care?
What do I care about?
The questions you ask. I've given you everything you've asked for. Why are you asking? Why do you care now?
I mean, I just feel like I don't know what's happening in my life right now. And I need answers. And I feel like you know the answers and you're holding out on me.
I know many, many things, my dear. I don't have the answers to everything.
That much is obvious, Mother.
And some answers I withhold for my own purposes.
That's not part of the game. You have the answer. You have to tell me.
I have told you all that you need to know. My dear, there are things that if I told you, you couldn't handle. Really, your mind would snap. I don't want that to happen to you, at least not today.
Can we just put the game aside? Can you just tell me what I need to know?
Where's the fun in that? I'll tell you what, my dear. 3. You have 3. Starting now.
I have 3 what?
That was 1.
Oh,
You have
no, that
2
doesn't
more
count.
questions.
You're gonna...
Now, what do you mean that doesn't count? That's my rules. My game you decided to play.
Stare at her angrily as I go and I pick up one of the worms in front of us and I just toss it to the side.
Oh, that one is escaping now. So be it.
Okay,
I'm just kidding, Fern. You still have 3.
Fern?
I mean,
Fern?
Sunny.
Fern wakes up in the house. What?
I'm just kidding, Sunny. You still have 3.
This magic that I'm using, where is it coming from?
Fair enough. You learned some of it from me, and some of it from deep within, from he who gifted the pebble. Or they, or she, the one who gifted the pebble. I'm trying to be clear, but it isn't. Next.
Where is the village of my birth parent?
Over the hills and far away.
No, be more specific.
Well, from what I learned from you, it's a hamlet called Stone Hollow. I'm not certain where it might be. It's not here.
Has Sunny heard of this place before?
Stone Hollow. Probably deep in your subconscious because she pulled it out of you somewhere. Roll an insight check on yourself.
I rolled a 12 for a total of 12.
Okay. It does ring a bell. It's a name you've heard before. You remember almost nothing. You remember a feeling associated with the name of this. A feeling of warmth a feeling of community, like real community, where you were a part of a family of hundreds. Don't remember anything else.
Okay. One more question.
Yes,
Okay.
make it good, because the other two have been too easy.
Too easy. Okay. Well, I guess, there's a lot of questions in the world that I could ask. I only get one, so I have to pick one. I get, okay. In order to save Gladewell, where should we begin looking when we go back?
That is a challenging question. Let me say this. And she reaches out and grabs the front of your shirt and pulls you in. And for a moment, her eyes flash green and you see her face as something horrific. It scares you to your soul. And then it's back to Mother's face, which is not beautiful, but very familiar. And this mad slaughter of the green is deeply offensive. Aye, and worse. You mortals have broken the long contract. Fell and dire armies amass, while you call the enemy to all our door. We shall not stand meekly aside and await the onslaught. Do you know the cost of your deeds? We think you mortals are foolish, small, blinded and dullards to crack this, the covenant of spirit and loam, of the warp and the weft, of the true and the passing, forged in blood and stone in Vasselheim. The enemy's sleeping head is waking, and ready to raise whilst ye plunder and rake and destroy. We, thy potential ally, through thy arrogance and blindness, heed. You who bring the rain of fire and ruin, awake. The time is short to know, to glean, to act. Make it so, or be unmade. She wipes her nose, looks at her hand. The mother says, to you now, my daughter, the fell green lady would like to converse. A look of utter distaste crosses her face. To do so, you must all find your path, and then find her.
You look like she's done
Now.
talking.
Yeah. Sleep, my child.
Wait, can I get that written down so I don't forget?
I will repeat it a little bit again. This mad slaughter of the green is deep offense, and worse. The mortals have broken the long contract. Fell and dire armies amass while you call the enemies to all our doors. We shall not stand meekly aside and await their onslaught. Do you know the cost of your deeds? We think the mortals are foolish and small, blinded and dullards to crack the covenant of spirit and loam, of the warp and the weft, of the true and the passing, forged in blood and stone in Vasselheim. The enemy's sleeping head is waking and ready to raise. while you plunder and rake and destroy us, your potential ally, through your arrogance and blindness. Pay attention. You who bring the rain of fire and ruin, awake. Time is short to know, to glean, to act. Make it so or be unmade. The fell green lady would like to converse. You must choose a path and then find her.
Sunny, feeling overwhelmed by sleepiness, starts to crawl back to the mushroom house, unable to barely stand up or keep her eyes
Roll
open.
another Constitution save with disadvantage.
Okay. With disadvantage, that would be a total of a 9.
You all wake up in a different place. You are back at the small campfire in the mortal realm where you left before to go find them. Where the portal took you from, you're back there. It's a bright, sunny morning, and all of you are waking up feeling stiff and sore. The campfire is so cold and long dead, it's hard to tell when this thing was lit. But Rip is there. And Rip now has 4 levels of exhaustion. Because you've all got a long rest.
4 is fewer than 5, folks.
That's true.
I'm
still hard
curled
to
up
walk.
in a. I know. Well, I'm not walking. I'm curled up in a little ball. I kind of open my eyes just a little bit, enough to see that we're around a campfire, and I kind of pull myself up a little
Not
bit tighter.
a camp circle, not really a
Yes,
campfire.
a camp not fire,
Yeah.
and just kind of tighten myself up just that little bit more. Try and preserve what little warmth I have.
It's a cool, crisp morning as the sun is already in the sky. It is bright and sunny, though. You had horses here before. They are no longer here. It looks like they pulled up their stakes that they were tied to or whatever, or broke free. Everyone give me either nature or survival check as you look around.
That's a 17.
Well, for survival.
Got a 19 on nature.
Okay.
An 18 on. Oh, wait. Just kidding. No, it's not. It. Let me
As you
redo
try
that
to
math
keep
real
sleeping.
quick and double check the rules for exhaustion. I was like, all right, we're back, baby. And then I was like, no, we're not. We aren't. That's going to be a 6 for nature.
Okay. Pieta?
17.
Okay, so most of you did, the majority of you did pretty well. It looks like you've been gone from this spot for a long time, maybe a week. The horses, the soil that got ripped up as they pulled up the stakes or whatever is dried. The grass that they had cropped and eaten has started to regrow. You've been gone a much longer time than it felt like you were gone. Also, the pixie and the dog are there, sleeping.
Nimbus. Nimbus. Can you hear us?
She rolls over and scratches her butt and then lifts her head. I
Oh,
can hear ya.
good.
What is it? Oh, I've been sleeping too long. My head hurts. Anyone have any water?
Oh. I'll try to go find some, and Fern will scuttle out and try to find some.
Sure.
I believe there was a source of something rather over there.
Yeah, there
It's
was.
been a while.
Pieta says, "No need," and he has a little pouch of a water sack in his bag, and hands it to.
Yeah, so she drinks deeply. For her, it's not much. It's like a sip for you, but she drinks a lot, as much as she can, and she says, "Now then, I'm all out of sorts. What? Where? I remember this place. Clips?" She pats the dog and wakes him up. He was out cold. She wakes him up and he starts looking around, jumps to his feet and starts making the perimeter, sniffing and peeing and all that stuff. Fern, what is it? You had a question for me?
No, I just wanted you to know that we were back.
She had come with you. She was there, but she was sleeping on the dog's back.
Where
And
were they?
They were just hanging around. They just were sitting there. She was asleep the entire time.
Well, regardless, we've made it back to...
I see
Here.
that. What? Did anything happen? Did you find... And then her eyes fall on Rip. You're back.
Rip I reach out for myself at the campfire and I just say cold and I tap the center of the campfire and cast Druidcraft and light it back up and pull my head back in.
Yeah, that just automatically works. So the little fire starts crackling. Ah, nice magic there. I need to get my bearings. I think I'm going to leave you now, but I'll be back.
Aren't we supposed to find your mistress? Didn't you say?
We were supposed to speak with her.
Ah, I don't remember. I'll find out. I shan't be long. Come, Clips. She turns to Clips and she flies up out through the tree canopy and takes off, and Clips jogs along underneath her and they disappear into the forest.
Sunny's gonna walk over to Rip and poke them on the nose. Can you say more than one word?
Were you yelling at me?
Nope, that was Tony. And Sunny starts backing up.
Yes, because I sound exactly like Sunny, apparently.
It's okay. It was really scary. You did a really good job.
Thank you. I mean, Tony says thank you.
Pieta looks at Rip and smiles and says, "Welcome back. How was it? Can you remember?"
And they take their water skin out and take a little sip. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Fern says, maybe not.
Right. Sorry. And he kind of retreats a little bit.
You guys do see that Rip has this like patch of fungal growth from the eye that was an empty socket all down the side of their skull.
Stony, sort of clocking that, grabs his goggles, takes a look.
And what would your goggles show? If it's magical or not?
Just certain magical acuities.
Okay.
And his intuition was right. Well, I wonder if this is, well, that is very peculiar. Well, whatever that, spot of death did you, there seems to be something, lingering on you. It doesn't look malicious. It looks rather attuned to you, though I'm not sure what is going on. Well, perhaps we'll have to dig into that deeper another time.
Yeah. Can you see it now? You do it again.
Yes, it seems to be. There seems to be some kind of what is that? Dust floating around you. It almost seems like gnats, but more peaceful, less random.
Yeah.
Strange.
Feels kind of funny though. I don't know. The druids talked about all kinds of changes. Who knows what's going on?
I suppose only the gods.
You guys think our leftover breakfast is still good?
Probably not.
Pull out and I open up a tin. No, that's not good. That's bad.
I'll go find something for us to eat. She scurries off.
Okay. Are you searching for animals or plants or both?
She's searching for an animal. Hopefully. Yes.
Sure. Give me a survival check. Try to hunt.
15.
Yeah, you can find squirrels, you can find rabbits, and you can find some like grouse, some birds.
Fern's never loved birds, so she's gonna kill a grouse.
Okay. So you come back with this like chicken-sized bird.
I found something. Pieta, do you want to cook?
I'm okay.
Okay. I'll do it then.
I can certainly help.
Fern lights the fire. And starts
It's already
cooking.
lit. Rip lit it. It's been
Oh, yeah.
crackling away.
She grabs. I'm gonna assume some of our stuff is still there, since our
Yeah,
ins
your
of
stuff
food
is
were.
still there.
So she'll grab a little cast iron and put it over and start cooking it.
Yeah. So you cook up the grouse. You guys all eat meat for breakfast.
Well, breakfast is cooking, can I go over to where we had last tied off the horses? I would assume we would have tied them off at
Mhm.
camp, and I just want to look to see if it looks like what happened, why they aren't there.
It looks like all the grass had been eaten where they were standing, where they could reach. And then when there was nothing left, they probably pulled up just jerked on it until they got loose and wandered off.
I spend 30 minutes just trying to see if they're anywhere nearby.
Survival check.
18 on the die for
Yeah,
18.
you managed to find how many of there were 5 horses. Let's see, roll a d10 and split it in half.
Ooh, okay. 5. So round up or
2?
down? 2.
Let's say you find 2 of the horses. They haven't gone far because they still have all their gear on them, and it looks like they've lost weight because they couldn't really get to do their normal, like, wild horse thing if they have all this tack and bridle and all that on them.
I take them by, I'm assuming there's some sort of lead rope on them,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
I walk
Their
them back to
reins.
camp.
Okay.
I think we should head back to town, but I don't know if Rip will fill up to walking if they're still able to walk, so I hope these will help.
Those are perfect. Fern kind of elbows Stony and nods at
Mhm.
Pieta.
Oh, what? I'm sorry. What are you saying? Something?
Maybe check on Pieta.
Yes. Yes. I shall do that. Hello there, Peter.
Pieta is cleaning up whatever is out, putting any type of culturally away or washing it at a nearby with whatever he can. Oh, hey, Stony. What's going on?
Nothing. I mean, I came over to check in on you, and if you are well, or if you are unwell.
I think I understand. You have nothing to worry about. It's fine. It's just things that I'm dealing with on my own, and I think I need to find these solutions on my own. There's a lot of things that have got me thinking and gotten a new perspective, I think, on some other things. I don't want to get into the details right now because I haven't quite figured it out, but it shouldn't worry you. It'll be fine.
Stony sort of pauses for a second. Kind of.
How about, before you go on, how about this? Pieta, would it be okay if Stony rolled an insight check and you can determine, based on his roll, how much he can figure out what you're talking about? Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Stony?
Okay.
Do your best insight.
Sure.
It's really
I
good.
think I'm really good at insight.
Always say that and then you roll high.
That's because it's my mantra. It's my mantra for rolling well. And I'm always right. I rolled a 15 for a total of 14.
Okay. That's better than average.
If you were to put on your intuitive glasses, you would see kind of a wrestle in like the strands that are surrounding Pieta. You would see just like kind of like a big waves back and forth, and it's all inside me, I would say. Um, and it's like I'm metaphorically being kind of tossed around in a tsunami, if you will. So it's a lot of you get a glimpse of a kind of internal struggle, internal battle, trying to just figure stuff out, and seeing what the heck Pieta really believes in, and the things that he's been taught. I mean, you don't like know all of the details, but that's just kind of a little bit more of a flavor that I wanted to add with that a little bit higher roll that you did.
So Stony squints his eyes. He takes about 5 seconds, and then he takes a breath and he says, "There are always battles that we must fight alone. That is life. I can see that there is some sort of struggle going on within you. Should you need any guidance or assistance, I shall be an ear or a mouth to whatever your needs may be. Know that whatever it is you decide, I will stand with you. Yes, well."
He cuts you off there and says, "How can you say that with certainty? You have no idea what is going on. Why would you guarantee that?"
Because I know what you are capable of, and I trust you. That is all that is needed.
It was kind of, you can see he was about to say something, but visibly chokes up a little bit, and says, "Okay." Like he keeps trying to say something, and like it just nothing comes out.
There's no need. We have time. You need not say it now, whatever it is you are trying to say. When the time is right, then you may come to me. If that is what you need. He winks at you.
Pieta, this is the first time you've ever felt Stony acting this way. He's always been a little different, and now he feels... It's hard to describe. He is now a different person, and you feel that in yourself too. You're changing, and everyone's changing based on this crazy adventure you guys have started.
For sure. I think Pieta maybe takes in, like, believes like 10% of that at the moment. He knows that, but the weight of that hasn't set in. being lost in his own world at the moment. And after that wink, maybe like 5 seconds go by, and Pieta just looks up and gives him a simple smile and nods.
You're made of tougher stuff than you know. And so am I. And for that reason, I think it high time that we face and speak to what has happened. And he turns and looks at Rip. And he kind of walks over.
Before you walk over, Pieta grabs your hand, turns you around, and says, "How are you so strong?" Kind of exhales his breath there. How are you able to hold yourself together with everything that just went on and keep pressing forward with a certain confidence and unmovable stride? How are you so strong?
Perhaps, pardon my arrogance, because it is me. If it were someone else, someone might screw it up. So therefore it must be me.
Rip laughs and says he's a great genius, you know.
That is not what I was implying. I just know that I am... I suppose I might be a genius in this moment. Who knows? You see him get carried away just a little bit.
Maybe my definition of the word genius adapted a little bit. Yes, you are a genius.
Finally, someone... I mean... well, yes. That is to say, Root Ripper, you were beyond our reach for a long time, for far too long, in a place where it is very hard to bring you back from. But we were able to do it. No. We were not able to do it. We had to ask for help. We did not have the power to prevent what happened to you. But I know that I will make sure that that never happens again.
There was a long time ago when I was really little. And it wasn't a particular day. I think my ba was just having a bad day that day. But they took me aside and they said, after they found me, you know, I was running around in the forest where I probably should not have been. And my boss said, there comes a time in every young gnome's life, in every young person's life, where you learn that the world is not your size of shoes. And I didn't really know what that meant. But I think I know what it means now. I think they were trying to tell me that when you're a young person, it can seem like the world is made for you. And like it's made for you in a way that can't hurt you. And it's not, you know? I think we kind of figured out that it's not.
A harsh lesson.
Yeah. I'm not mad at you guys, you know? I'm really grateful you brought me back. I wish I could have helped defray the cost, you know. I'm sure it wasn't inexpensive for you guys. And I look and make eye contact with Fern and kind of knit my brow just really quickly before kind of moving along and sitting in silence with everyone.
I am fairly certain that we got the better end of the deal.
Yeah. I don't know. It did hurt.
I wanted to say that it's all my fault, and I'll never let it happen again. And I know that you probably can't trust me anymore. And I'm no longer supervisor, but, I'm sorry. And I hope one day you can forgive me. But I understand if you can't.
I grab Sunny's face. You're the best supervisor I've ever had.
No, I don't
I
want
would
that.
have told those guys to kick rocks too, to be honest. Probably. They just put you in a spot where it was really easy for you to make a bad choice. And that's not fair to put that whole choice on you, you know?
Well, from now on, I'm not making any choices.
That's what I said last time.
Hmm. Yes, well.
We'll let Fern make the choices. She's really good at it.
Wait, is that a choice that we're choosing Fern?
Oh.
Get to goes to Sunny. Is it a choice to choose not to make a choice?
No. I'm already
That's
breaking my word to Rip that I won't make choices.
No. Okay, everyone, breathe.
What's the true difference between the highest wisdom characters and the lowest wisdom characters, really, when you really get down to it?
Part
all
of
ones and zeros.
life is making choices. You will always make choices. And sometimes they will have good things that happen, and sometimes bad, and sometimes, who knows, you'll never know if it was good or bad, but that's just life. And we learn from the bad ones, and we try not to make them again, and we celebrate the good ones, and we try to figure out the ones that we can't figure out. So, keep making choices.
Yes, to make a choice is unavoidable.
I kind of grab Sunny's hand and give her a little squeeze and say, I think maybe we'll just make our choices together.
Okay. I'm okay with that, Rip.
There is something else I must tell you. Everyone else knows but you, Rip.
Oh my gosh, finally, you and Fern kiss? Did that happen while I was dead?
What? How did you... No,
Fern
that's not what I was
turns
going to...
completely pink.
How would you
Fern
even...
kissed Tony.
What?
No, it's not what it... It's a very long story.
Oh, sure. Full of feeling.
No, well, what... Yes, that did happen, though I'm confused as to why you would possibly guess that, but no, I was... The Damn it! The letter. Did
I'm
that
just a
get
really
burned?
good guesser, and I give Pieta a nudge. I'm just really good at guessing.
He just laughs a bit.
Oh, a
Did
letter?
did the letter get burned when we did the ritual to get into the in between Feywild?
Mm.
Because
I don't think so.
no, okay. So he produces the letter to the threatening letter to Rip.
Where was it?
Where was it? The letter?
Yeah.
In his pocket? What?
Okay.
He took it out of Grimm's mouth.
Yeah, it's kind
No,
of out of
there's a
Grimm's.
worm in there.
The worm
It was
is
in there
eating
with
the
the
paper.
worm. Mhm.
So he produces it to Rip, and he says, This was on my bondor. It was addressed to all of us, and I foolishly withheld this information from all of you because of what I thought was right. But I know now that I was wrong.
Rip reads the note and kind of looks around. You didn't tell us, but you didn't. Did Pocket know about this letter?
Stony looks to Fern.
No.
He shakes his head.
Kind of close it up really quickly. Well, please know that the only family I have here in this realm that I know for certain even exists can take care of themselves. The more information they have to protect themselves, the better. And I hand the letter back to Stony.
Stony sort of nods, but doesn't say anything else.
And that's where we'll end tonight's episode. Fun times. I would like for
Times.
We're all just fun
everyone
guys.
I would like for everyone to make one final roll for me. And we'll see what happens from there. I want everyone to roll history check.
Wow, I got a 24.
I got a 3.
I got a 4.
Well, I got a nat 20 for a total of 12. Thanks, 4 levels of exhaustion.
Oh my god.
gosh. And Fern?
15.
Okay. I'm going to, since most of you didn't roll too high, I'm going to send a text to Stony over the week, and we'll see if any information comes up from there.
Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking with us. You're a wonderful audience. Don't forget, we have a Friday session called Twist of Fate, where our characters go from 3rd level to 20th level eventually. We're right now at 7th. We'll be back next Monday with another episode of what are we called? Zeros to Heroes. Episode 16 is done. Good night, everybody.
Hit that like, hit the
and
follow,
subscribe.
give us a comment, subscribe
Get in the comments.
down below.
Should Rip forgive Stony? Get in the comments.